Hello, welcome to this lesson where we want to look at questions on inverse proportion. Okay, we want to look at questions on inverse proportion. So what is an inverse proportion? So first of all, I want to talk about direct proportion, then we talk about inverse proportion. So I'm going to give you, to start with direct proportion. So direct proportion, let's talk about 100 kwacha. Okay, so if we say 100 kwacha can buy, just an example, 5 kgs of sugar. Okay, if we say 100 kwacha can buy 5 kgs of sugar, then we say 120. Even before you look at, you get to find the exact number of kgs that this amount is going to buy. What can you conclude about the kgs? Are they going to reduce or increase? Since the amount of money has increased, definitely we also expect the kgs to do what? To increase. So that is what we mean by direct proportion. When this part increases, even the other part does what? Increase. Okay? Now let me bring you to what's this? To inverse. So inverse, if we say 5 people can, let's talk about 10 kgs. Okay, 10 kgs of mealie meal. We say 5 people can consume this one in how many days? We say in 4 days. Okay, 5 people, okay, 5 people are going to consume like this. They will use the 10 kgs of mealie meal in how many days? In 4 days. Now, if we increase the number of people, if we increase the number of people from 5 to 7, what will happen to the number of days here? The number of days will definitely reduce. Okay, this side it has increased, this side there's an increase, isn't it? But then this side will be a reduction. That's what we mean by the inverse. This side it will come down, this side to go up. So this is an inverse. Okay, when one part increases, the other one goes down. If we had said the number of people reduces, then the number of days will increase. So that is an inverse. All right, so let's look at the first example. How do we solve these questions? So the first example reads, Mrs. Mwira needs 4 people to do a piece of work in 12 days. Okay, so 4 people are needed to do some work in 12 days. All right, then how many people would she need to do the same work in 8 days? So here we are looking at how many people. This we don't know now, so we can put X here. But then here, the number of days has reduced. Okay, so now how do you tell that this is an inverse proportion? See the relationship here. The number of days has reduced from 12 to 8. What will happen to the number of people? Definitely the number of people must increase, because we are told the rate at which the work must be done is the same. So the number of people should do increase. Okay, now there are 2 or so predominant methods that can be done, and I don't think I should share both. One is enough so that you do not, so we get them like this in form of ratios. This is 12, then here we have X, this is equals to 8. So what we are supposed to do in this case, have you seen? What you're supposed to do in this case, you cross multiply. Sorry. Before you do that, before you cross multiply, so we are saying you have 4 is equals to, equated to that, then you have X, then 8. Okay, so before you cross multiply, I forgot to emphasize, you need to rewrite this. So what you do, these ones here on your right hand side, these, you swap. Let this 8 come on top, and then this 12 come down here. That is when we are dealing with an inverse proportion. An inverse proportion, that's when you do this. For a direct proportion, you cross multiply directly. So now at this point, that is when we are going to cross multiply. At this point, that's when we'll cross multiply. So to cross multiply, we're going to have 8x, that is 8 multiplied by x. This is equals to 4 multiplied by 12. Okay? Then we want to find the value of x. So we're going to say now x is equals to 4 multiplied by 12 over 8. So our x is equals to, so we can say 4 here, it's 1. 4 here, it's 2. Okay? Again, you say 2 here, it's 1. 2 here, it's 6. So x is equals to 60 people. Okay? Are we together? It is as simple as that. This is as simple as that. So, now the other method that I wanted to show you, I don't know. The other method could be, if you want to find, the other method is, if you want now, although we will not use this method going forward, we can say one person, okay? How many hours one person going to take? So one person will take how many hours? You multiply, since 4 people are taking these hours, 4 people are taking 12 hours, so you multiply, one person will take 4 hours multiplied by 12 days. One person is going to take, you multiply, 4, that is for 4 people, it's equals to this one. So for one person, you need to multiply now 4 by, you get 48 hours. So one person is going to take 48 hours, one person, to do this work. So then you can say, what about in how many people will it take to do this work in 8 hours now? How many people will it take to do this work in 80 days? Sorry, we are talking about, I keep changing. We're talking about days, not hours. Yeah, sorry about that. So these are days here. These are days, not hours. Okay, so for now, if one person can do the work in 48 days, then how many people will be needed to do the same work, okay, in 8 days? So you divide this by 8. When you divide this by 8, it gives you 6, which is the same. So meaning the first one is simpler, so we can go with the first one. Let's go to the next example. So the second example reads, a boarding house had enough food to feed 30 boys for 5 days. Okay, 30 boys are going to be fed in how many days? 5 days. Now, if only 25 boys reported, you get that? If only 25 boys reported, how many days did the food last if consumption per day was the same? So in other words, we are saying 30 boys can be fed, okay, on that food for 5 days. Now we are told that we only had 25 boys. Now, how many days? So this is the part that we don't have. How many days? So meaning, It goes to the same thing that I was telling you, that you just have to say 35, 25x. That's what you do. Then the next step, I've told you, don't make a mistake. 30, 25. Then this side, they switch positions. These should switch positions. So we're going to have x and 5 here. Then at this point, we cross multiply. So when you cross multiply, you're going to have 25 is equals to, when you multiply this one, what do you get? You have 5 multiplied by 30. So for me, this is 25x. Then the next step is now going to be x is equals to 5 multiplied by 30 over 25. Then at this point now, you have to simplify. 5 here, 1. 5 here, 5. 5 here, 1. 5 here, 6. So again, it goes to say that 25 boys, okay? 25 boys will be fed for 6 days. So here, we are talking about 60 days or so. 60 days. All right? That is very important. So we go to the last question. If two men can dig a well in 3 days, 2 men can dig a well in 3 days. Okay? How many more men are needed if the work is to be completed in 2 days and working at the same rate? How many more men are needed? Okay? So we need first of all to get to say, if this work has to be completed in how many days? In 2 days. How many more? So in other words, here we want to find the number of men that can, how many men can do this work in 2 days. All right? So I told you that after you've done this, you have 2, then 3, x, then 2. And I said the next step must be what? You say 2. This side you have x. Then these must swap now. You have 2 and 3. At this point, we cross multiply. So we're going to have 2x is equals to 2 multiplied by 3. So you divide by 2, you divide by 2. So x is equals to 2 here, it's 1. 1 multiplied by 3, you get 3. Okay, so what are we trying to say here? We need 3 men to do this work in 2 days. But when you go back to the question was asking, how many more men are needed? How many more men? So this work can be done by 3 men in what? In 2 days. But the question is saying how many more men? So since we already had 2, so we need 1 more man is needed or was needed. This one, how many more man? 1 more man is needed or was needed. So this is basically what you are supposed to do, or this is basically what you were supposed to do. All right. So now I'm going to give you 3 questions for the exercise. Okay, so we do these questions. Let me give you another one. We can also do this question here. Okay, so we have this one. We have this question here. Okay. We have this question. All right, goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. Please subscribe.